In this video, we will discuss course substitutions. Course substitutions are a vital part of the advising process. Without course substitutions, a student could be delayed in terms of when they graduate. A student may also not be covered by financial aid for a particular course if a course substitution needs to be completed for it. This document is posted right below this video. However, we just want to run through it here. Who needs course substitutions? So students who have taken higher level courses that could be counted for lower level requirement. For example, Math 171 could be substituted for Math 110. Psych 150 could be substituted for Psych 118. If you're ever unsure of whether or not a particular course is a higher level course that could be substituted, you can always reach out to the chair of that program or that department to ask. Another case would be students who have transferred in courses that we don't offer here at Carteret that could be counted towards their program of study. For example, let's say a student went to another community college and took English 113, literature-based research. That is a transferable course. It will count as an English elective, but because Carteret does not offer it, it's going to appear under that program evaluation for that student. It's going to appear at the very bottom of the page under the other category, when in reality that should be counting towards that student's elective category. So again, you can complete a course substitution. If you're ever unsure of whether or not a course could be counted, especially in terms of transfer courses, so your general education electives, there is a link posted beside this document to the CAA transfer list. So if you click into the 2022 transfer course list, this is a list of all the courses that are offered throughout all community colleges that count as general education electives or pre-major electives, and they are all transferable courses. So if a student comes in with one of these courses and it could be applied towards the program of study, you can always check just to make sure that it's on this list here. Another case could be an applied science or health science students who have an elective requirement, but the student takes a different course from that same transfer category. So an example there is a student takes Music 110, Music Appreciation, which is a humanities and fine arts course, but the program has a requirement of Art 111, Art Appreciation, but that's also considered a humanities or fine arts course. The decision lies within the program chair of whether or not they want to make that course substitution. Again, though, you can always check the transfer list here if you want to see what type of course that it is. So, for example, maybe the program had a requirement Art 111, which is a humanities and fine arts, but the student took Art 114. It's also within that same category, so it kind of lends itself to being substituted. The last case would be transfer students who have either extra math hours or extra general education electives that could be moved to account to another elective category. So, for example, associates in arts student have a 3-hour math requirement, but they take Math 171, which is a 4-credit-hour class. That extra hour there could be moved to either the student's general education elective requirement or the pre-major elective requirement. Just that 1 hour could make or break some students determining when they graduate. So let's look at examples of the forms for each one of these situations here. So this would be the course substitution form, which is also posted right below the video. You'd fill out the student's information at the top. This is an example of the required course was Math 110, but maybe for some reason the student had switched programs of study and had taken Math 171 prior to being a criminal justice student. So you could substitute in a higher level math course. There's a drop down over here on the right hand side where you'll choose what category from the academic evaluation or from the program requirement that it belongs to. So this is a Gen Ed math requirement here. Another example, this is a transfer student. They have taken another class at a different community college that we didn't offer, but it is part of the CAA list. They want it to count towards their pre-major elective category, which French 141, again, always refer back to that list. It does say there that that is a pre-major elective, so we could say there's a requirement of a pre-major elective. We're going to substitute in the course that they took from another community college, and that falls under the student's other required hours here. Another example, this is a culinary arts student. The required course there is Psych 118. Maybe in a different program of study, the student had previously taken Soc 210, Those both belong to the social behavioral sciences category. If the program chair wants to make that substitution, they certainly could, because again, it counts from the same part of that student's program evaluation. The last case would be, this is an associates in art student. Both types of course substitutions that we just discussed in the document are shown here. So the student has a requirement of a general education elective. They have an extra math hour. This only happens if a student takes Math 171 or Math 152, which are 4 credit hour classes, but the requirement there for an associates in art student is only 3 math hours. So that extra hour, there's actually a drop down here that says move that 1 math credit to their elective category. Another example here is students have requirements of a pre-major elective, but maybe they have extra general education hours. So students are required, for an associates in art student, they need 14 general education hours. Maybe their general education hours added up to 16 instead of 14. You can take those extra 2 hours and bump it down to their second category of electives, which is their pre-major electives. So again, notice the drop down here, there's an option to move additional general education hours, which is what we're doing here, down to their pre-major elective hours. If you ever have any questions about course substitutions, please never hesitate to reach out to someone from the advising committee.